I'm not settling for the same shit we did this year. Oh boy. Reese told the Tribune, we have to get good players.
Angel Reese is asking out of Chicago already. Angel Reese is fed up. She's tired of the losing.
Angel Reese just hit the wall every young star eventually meets. The moment when talent isn't enough, when the volume of your words gets measured against the weight of your example. And right now, Chicago's locker room is feeling every decibel.
She's tired of being the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league.
Reese's suspension was the spark. The fallout is the fire. But that wasn't the whole story. Not even close.
We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me.
Let's set the stage. Chicago's season was already on thin ice. Too many empty trips, too many late-game wobbles, too many nights where the Sky played decent defense and then coughed the ball back up like a hot potato. Into that frustration came the interviews, not quiet texts to the front office, not a private sit-down with vets.
And however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason.
Interviews, with lines about not settling for another year like this, lines about needing good players, great players, lines that read less like a plan and more like a public notice. You could feel the air change. Fans were split, some nodding like, say it louder, others thinking, this ain't how you do it. Inside the locker room, the split wasn't 50-50. It was hurt. Veterans who've taped ankles, played through stingers, kept rooms steady for years. They don't shrug that off. Younger players who are fighting for a foothold, they don't shrug it off either. Words land, and these landed hard. Then the timing went from bad to brutal. A crucial matchup looming. Spotlight hot. And boom, another technical. That eighth whistle wasn't just a number. It was a message from the league. There's a line for emotional control and it was crossed. The optics were awful. The headline wasn't strategy. It wasn't growth. It wasn't we figured something out, it was suspension. And for any team trying to chart a future, that's the exact storyline you don't want attached to your central piece. But again, that wasn't the end of it. Because when you call publicly for upgrades, everything you do gets graded with a thicker marker. Every turnover starts to look like a sermon you didn't practice. Every missed finish at the rim feels louder. Every exchange with an official reads as composure, or the lack of it. And this is the hard truth any star learns. People will live with aggressive mistakes if you're first in line to own them. They won't live with blame shifting. Not in pro sports, not in any honest room. Chicago didn't just need better shot creation or cleaner entry passes. Chicago needed a tone setter. Someone who shows, not just says, what winning standards look like. The suspension said the opposite. Let's talk about the comments that stung the most. There's critique, and then there's disrespect. Saying we need to improve our guard play is one thing. Saying, in effect, that you can't rely on a respected veteran coming off injury because of her age lands on a whole different frequency. That's not just about basketball. That's about honor. Courtney Vandersloot is one of those names that carries weight in any gym she walks into. She's given too much to this league to be brushed aside like a cap casualty. The minute that quote hit the timeline, heads turned. The veterans heard it one way. You don't talk about legends like that. Full stop. Even if the front office needs a younger guard, you say it differently. You keep the respect intact. That's culture. That's how it's always been done on serious teams for a reason. Here's the other layer. Chicago's front office wasn't asleep at the wheel. They'd already tried to support Reese with established talent. They moved pieces, they paid real prices. The message from management was, we value you, we're building around you. So when the return message feels like not good enough, and it plays out in public, the trust frays on both ends. Front offices talk, agents talk, free agents watch. If your star sounds like she's got one foot out the door, why would an all-star with options view your franchise as a stable landing spot? Talent recruits talent, sure, but culture closes the deal. And culture hates chaos. That's why the locker room meeting mattered. Rooms either rot or reset after moments like this. The reset is uncomfortable. It sounds like veterans saying, we get that you want excellence, so do we. But you don't torch your team to get there. It sounds like younger voices admitting, yeah, we have to be better, me included. It sounds like a star saying, that phrasing was on me, and then backing it up with changed behavior, not just cleaner quotes. The meeting isn't a cure-all, but it's a start. Without it, you have a long winter of side glances and short answers. With it, you've at least got a baseline to build from. Now about performance. The numbers looked shiny in places, big rebounding nights, points in bunches, flashes of dominance on the glass. But the habits that win in this league live in the fine print, valuing the ball, finishing the gimme looks, channeling fire without burning possessions, and keeping your head when a call goes sideways. Too many empty finishes, too many live ball giveaways, too many techs. That's not hate, that's film. And film is where grown pros do their best talking. The best fix all the stuff that isn't talent. Footwork angles, pivot discipline, where the eyes go on a double, when to kick and when to reset. Clean those up, and suddenly you earn the right to be blunt about what the team still lacks. Don't. And the bluntness sounds like a shield. There's also the quiet comparison playing out next door. It's not about who's better, it's about approach. In Indiana, when the walls closed in, the language leaned we. Even when the Phenom had 40 on a Sunday, the podium quotes sounded like, "We need the right pieces and we'll keep building together." No digs, no auditions for another city. That earns patience. That invites veterans who want to play meaningful basketball without the circus. The Fever didn't win every night, but they looked like a room rowing in the same direction. Meanwhile, Chicago looked like a room arguing over whose oar is heavier. It doesn't take a basketball genius to spot the difference. And now, the part you asked for, the 1 or 2 paragraphs on how Sophie Cunningham would react. She's built like a throwback. Team first, tough as nails, zero appetite for excuses. If Sophie were asked about this mess, you'd hear tough love without theatrics. Something like, "You don't win by torching teammates. You want better? Earn better. Start with your own margins. Take care of the ball, take the hit, run the floor, talk on defense, and when you've got something hard to say it in-house. Respect the vets, protect the room." She'd praise the hustle, rebounds, second chances, and still tell you plain that leadership starts with the mirror, not with a microphone. And if she was pressed on the Vandersloot piece, Sophie would probably tighten her jaw and say, "You don't age check a champion. You either learn from her or you'll learn the hard way." That's it. No subtweets, no shade, just the code. Cunningham's whole brand is simple. You pick up your teammate, you pick up your assignment, and you pick up your standard. Anything else? Noise. You can almost see her walking past a camera, tapping the Sky logo in the hallway, and muttering, "Keep it in the family." Back to Chicago. The question now isn't, was she right about upgrades? It's, can this group re-earn each other's belief? Because belief is what turns role players into playoff killers. Belief is what gets a veteran to sign for less because she trusts the room. Belief is what takes a rough offensive night and converts it into a defensive masterclass because nobody wants to let the other 5 down. That starts with language. "We need better players" is a spotlight. "We need better habits" is a mirror. One divides, one unites. Picking the right one is Leadership 101. If you're the Sky Brain Trust, you set lines in ink. You say, "We don't fracture publicly, we confront privately, we sprint back, we talk early, we screen hard, we close out under control, we own our box score, we don't audition for other locker rooms while wearing this jersey." You back your words with consequences. Quiet ones, consistent ones. It's not about humiliating a star, it's about protecting the standard. Stars actually thrive under standards because it clarifies the job. Be great at the controllables and the rest follows. If you're Angel Reese, the path forward is clear and hard. I want the best here, and I'm going to be the first one to attract them by how I work. You clean up the techs. You play through contact without hunting whistles. You drop your turnover rate by making the simple read early. You turn those second chance putbacks into either 2 crisp points or a kick-out 3 at the right moment. You get a veteran on the phone, doesn't matter who, and say, "Teach me how to lead without burning the room." You do it quietly. You do it daily. Fans will see. Teammates will feel it before they say it. That's how reputations change. If you're a veteran on that roster, you don't sulk. You set the drill pace tomorrow. You're the first to huddle the group after a bad scrimmage possession. You remove the passive-aggressive comments from your vocabulary. You look the star in the eye and say, "We're with you. Be with us." You do not reward drama. You reward discipline. Young rooms copy what vets tolerate the right things. If you're the front office, you keep your word. If you promise to make the roster better, you work the phones and you sell vision without promising a circus. You protect your legends with dignity. You do not leak. You do not posture. You hire culture as hard as you hire scoring. And you make it crystal clear. This franchise values toughness, humility, and results. Anyone who can't align with that, No matter how big the name, won't be comfortable here. The league can smell a standard. Players talk. If you're serious, they'll know. Let's talk about free agents for a second. Top players have options. They'll join a 10-win team if they believe the structure is strong and the relationships are honest. But nobody signs up for a soap opera when there are contenders 2 phone calls away. That's why this reset matters now, not 6 months from now. Pros remember how a season ends. If the sky close with effort, quiet, and a sense of accountability, the last impression can outshine the mid-season noise. If they close with more fireworks, well, agents will steer their people elsewhere. The window to change the narrative is open, but it won't stay open forever. What should leadership language actually sound like? It's simple and old school. We weren't good enough. That starts with me. I have to take care of the ball, finish at the rim, and play through frustration. I believe in my teammates. I believe in our front office. If you're a free agent who wants to work, come join us. We're building something real. That's a paragraph that wins a room. That's a paragraph that gets printed out and taped to a weight room wall. That's the paragraph that makes a rookie show up early and a vet stay late. Say it and then do it, and you'll be shocked how quickly perceptions flip. For the fans wrestling with all this, your instincts aren't wrong. You want accountability, not excuses. You want respect for the women who built this league. You want the young stars to learn the right lessons, not the easy ones. You want the jerseys you buy to mean something beyond a highlight package. That's the beauty of sport at its best. It still rewards the old truths. Show up, grow up, lift the person next to you, and if you must criticize, earn the right first, then say it with care. There's a version of next year where this becomes the hinge moment for Angel Reese, the point where she went from fiery talent to true leader. The point where teammates whispered, she changed, and it was meant admiringly. The point where a respected vet nodded on the first day of camp and thought, all right, let's roll. That version requires humility today and habits tomorrow. It's not flashy, it's not clicky, it's just real. Players who choose that path end up with respect that lasts longer than any viral clip. There's also a darker version, the one where this summer drifts into fall and the edges fray a little more, where the quote sheets still sound like auditions, where the film still shows the same mistakes, where the room keeps a polite distance and the season becomes a slow-motion rerun. Nobody wants that. Not the star, not the vets, not the city. Chicago is a basketball town. It will pour love into a team that works. The sky can earn that again, but only with the hard basics. So here's where we land. The suspension was a headline. The fallout is a test. The answers aren't in who said what 3 weeks ago, they're in who chooses what 3 weeks from now. Angel, you have the platform. Use it to recruit by example. Use it to invite greatness by showing what great looks like Monday through Saturday. You might be right that the roster needs help. Most teams do. But you will get better help faster by proving you're the kind of cornerstone other pros want to stand beside. And to the room, protect each other. Publicly, fiercely. Hold each other to account privately, relentlessly. That's the way it's always been done on real teams, the way champions are built. If the Sky adopt that today, this whole messy chapter becomes a prologue, not an epitaph. In the end, it's simple, even if it's not easy. Talent opens the door. Character keeps it open. Work walks you through. Respect invites others in. Leadership turns the lights on and says, follow me. Angel Reese has everything she needs to become that leader. Chicago has everything it needs to build a team worth following. The rest is choices, and as any veteran will tell you, the game remembers the choices you make when the microphones are off. The ball's in your court, Chicago. Make it count. And here's the blueprint nobody argues with. Start small, daily, boring. Film before opinions. 10 perfect outlet passes before a single post-up. 2-foot finishes through contact for 5 straight minutes. One rule in scrimmage, the ball can't hit the ground twice on any possession. Standards that look tiny until your fourth quarter looks different because of them. That's how you earn the right to talk big. That's how a room starts believing again. Off-season, keep it simple and grown. You don't recruit stars with slogans. You recruit them with proof. Proof you've cut the turnover rate. Proof your late-game execution tightened. Proof your best player shows up early and leaves last. Not for the cameras, but for the work. Pros smell that. Word travels faster than any press release. If Chicago becomes a no-excuses gym, the right people will find their way to that door. Here's the free agent pitch. Cleaned up and real. We will protect the locker room. We will not waste possessions. We will be the toughest defensive rebounding team in the league. And our star is first in every line, last out of every drill. If you want shine without shortcuts, come here. That sentence does more than any splashy graphic. It tells veterans exactly what they're signing up for and what they're not. Training camp can be your reset ceremony. Post the 5 non-negotiables on the wall. 1. We huddle after every mistake. 2. We never point, only own. 3. We run the floor like we're down 2. 4. We talk on defense until it's muscle memory. 5. We keep the hard conversations in-house. Review them weekly. Find them lightly, praise them loudly. Teams become what they hear and repeat. Give them something worth repeating. Angel, make one quiet gesture that says everything. Call the vets. Not for cameras, not for quotes. Ask 3 questions. What am I doing that helps you? What am I doing that hurts you? What do you need from me on game day? Then write down the answers and bring them to practice. People move mountains for stars who listen. They will move Chicago for you if you show them it's not about you. And when the season tips, flip the script in the moments that used to tilt you. A bad whistle? Hands behind the back. 2 long breaths. Next play. A blown layup. Sprint back and erase it with a stop. A teammate misses you on a seal? Tap your chest. My bad for not carving deeper position. And get it back next trip. That's leadership you can see from the cheap seats. That's how a city knows it can trust you. Remember the Sophie standard. The old school code that never goes out of style. Protect the room. Apologize fast. Play harder than you talk. Praise by name. Criticize by category. And only inside the circle. That's the kind of culture that turns a rough Wednesday in January into a signature win in June. It's not glamorous. It's just how winning has always been done. There's a version of this story that becomes folklore. The suspension was the jolt. The meeting was the mirror. The summer was the work. And opening night, the sky looked different. Quieter, sharper, harder to rattle. The crowd feels it. The league notices it. Free agents circle it. And when a young player somewhere asks how you turn a mess into a movement, the answer is simple. Standards first. Every day, no matter who's watching. So take the noise and turn it into notes. Take the criticism and turn it into cadence. Take the fallout and turn it into foundation. Chicago doesn't need a savior. It needs a standard bearer. Be that. Because in this league, talent gets you on the marquee. Standards keep your name there. And when the lights get hottest, the teams that win are the ones that chose discipline long before they chose headlines. If you're still listening, if you still care, you've already started. The work is waiting. The room is watching. And the season won't apologize. No more auditions. No more side quests. Just basketball. The right way. Together. The rest, the wins, the respect, the recruits, follows people who earn it. The ball's still in your court, Chicago. Now make everybody proud of how you play this possession.